Hi everyone, it's Rebecca with Stand by the Beach. There we go. I'm trying to get the light to set up. We did the, Sweet Sentiments yesterday. We did that live. So this morning I'm just hopping on and showing you guys what we did in class. We kind of did a neat little technique, and so I wanted everybody to be able to see it. You guys couldn't all make it. Let me see if I can get the computer going. Don't mind my tired voice. I've actually been up for a little while, and I've even had some coffee. I am still adjusting to my new work schedule, but it has been really nice. I'm off on Fridays, which I really, really like. It's just been long days. I've been coming home and going to bed. And Emmy keeps jumping on the table, so I just apologize ahead of time because I think she's been missing me. All right, computer's not working, so I will catch up with this in just a second. I don't know why. I don't know why my computer does not like me, but it does not. It does not want to see that I am live. There it goes. Let me see if I can share it. As you're popping on, if you'll just share. That way everybody can find me, hopefully. We'll share him there. We'll share him over here. There we go. Okay. Uh-oh. I'm having drama pop up on my phone. I'll have to check with that later. Okay. So what I wanted to show you is I did a class, and the idea was I designed a basic card format, and then you were supposed to be able to put whatever sentiment you wanted on it. It ended up being, we just used what was in the box, but that's okay. I liked that this one uses a one-sheet wonder. So if you've ever done a one-sheet wonder, it means that you're taking a piece of paper, typically your designer series paper, and this is our lily pad one that is in our celebration catalog, and you get it for free when you spend the $50. So it's in this little guy. Where'd he go? I have a lady who keeps texting me. I'm sorry. I keep getting distracted because it's popping up on my phone and on my computer. But this is the paper, and so you get all these really pretty prints. So all we're going to do is we're going to take this piece of paper. I'm going to show you how I did it because for class I used different designs, but I used the different pieces that make this one sheet wonder. So we're gonna let me find my cheat sheet so I do this right. But the idea is that it will use the whole sheet of paper so that you're using all of your paper and you don't have weird scrappy pieces that you don't know what to do with. So we're gonna cut, this is a 6x6 that I cut this down for 2, and we're gonna go to 2 inches. So then this goes on a card, just like that, and then we're gonna cut it at 3. All right, and then we're gonna cut that one again. And then this one is a 1 inch, and we're gonna cut it again at 3 at this direction. I think you guys can see. All right, so then you have these 2 little rectangle pieces. So these go on a card. And then we're gonna take this big piece and we're gonna cut it to 1.5. Oops. 3 times. 2 and whoops, 3. Okay, so then these are gonna go on a card, and then you have this little piece, and we're just gonna cut him at 1.5 one more time, and it's gonna make a square, 2 squares. And this is gonna go on a card. So this is a card, these are a card, that's a card, and then these are a card. So we're gonna take all these pieces, and you'll be able to make 4 different cards out of one 6x6 sheet of paper. Hey Lois. And then, so I translated that and I did it into 4 different designs so that my people weren't using the same sheet of paper, because I'm pretty sure they would have thought that was boring. But at home, and you already have like a project in mind, it's perfect for getting rid of that paper and using every little bit of it. You don't feel like you're wasting. So this first one we're gonna do, let me find my bucket, here it is. We'll do this one first. So this one is, I told the universe to send some awesome your way. And this one, if I didn't get rid of it, I just tossed everything aside and then I lost, there it is. So this card is using these two little baby pieces. It looks like we used a full sheet of paper, but we didn't. It's a secret. But it's a great way to really conserve that paper so that you're not, you know, using that full sheet of paper and then you've used a giant piece. So we're gonna start with our Night of Navy card base. Fold him in half. How are you doing, Lois? Are you still crafting this week? I'm gonna keep seeing you post pictures. You always make cute cards. All right, and then there's our green. And then this is the tropical paper that I used. And so we're just gonna line these up over here to give that illusion that we have that whole sheet of paper. And you can do it either way. I had some people wanting to do the flamingos that are on the back because they're really stinking cute. But I was afraid that people were going to have flamingo butts when I cut this one. And I didn't want people to have flamingo butts on their cards. So I stuck with the leaves. So we're just going to stick those guys on there. I love this new tropical suite. And I don't typically do an entire class around one suite. But I felt like for these cards, it just worked so well. That's what we did. And I did actually a lot of these layers flat. And I know that's kind of scary because I'm usually the queen of dimensionals. But I had a little dimensional scare this past weekend. And I couldn't find... That doesn't look right. I cut it backwards. That's no good. Which one is right? The pink is right, the white is wrong. Let me cut this guy back down. And I think this is a 3x4 if I'm remembering right. 3. Yep. All right, so I need this one. I did it the other way. I did 4 1/4 by 3 1/4 instead of 3 3/4. Right? Yes. No, that's still not right. No, I'm doing it right. You're doing it right, Rebecca. You're good. 3 3/4 by 2 3/4. There we go. Whew. Math does not work well in the morning. I just didn't look. No, that's right. I did it right. I'm just second guessing myself. All right. We're going to take these words out of the Genuine Gems. And this one is just really cute. I like this set. But I like this sending some awesome your way because that can cover all sorts of different reasons. It could be a just because or a get well. Just a thinking of you. So we're just going to stamp him there in the middle. Bloop. I'll clean him later. My chamois is across the table and I don't feel like getting up. So we have our blue on there, and actually we're gonna stamp a little pineapple on there too. Pineapple, where'd you go? I had everything sitting out. Oh, it's under the computer. That's where it's at. So this little pineapple is coming out of Timeless Tropical. I love this new set. And I want this pineapple to go over my words. I'm going to stamp it off and then put him, I'm going to put him right here. So he's just hanging out in the background. And I'm just going to go ahead and glue him to my pink. Bloop. And then I have my stamper ones. I'm just going to color in some of these big giant bubble letters because I felt like you could leave it and just let it kind of be whatever. But I liked it colored. So we're going to color it real quick. I felt like these letters were just calling to be colored in. So hard to talk and color at the same time. Jane. I'm so excited for you to get your kit. I always like to see what everybody gets, where they wanted to start. I got home yesterday from work and I had opened the door for a couple people when they came in for class and I didn't see it. And then one of my ladies came up and she's like, "You have Happy Mail on your porch." And I'm like, "I do have Happy Mail on my porch. I had a Stampin' Up! Order I forgot I put in." I was like, nice. I didn't see that the first couple of times. Either the UPS guy was running late yesterday and he snuck up on my porch, because they've been doing that lately. They just sneak up and they don't knock on the door. They don't ring the doorbell. They just kind of get up there and drop my box off and walk away. Or we're just all really blind and weren't paying attention. But I go looking for boxes. Even when I don't think I've ordered anything, I have to check the front porch just in case, because there might be something there. Because I like Happy Mail. All right, I'm just going to stick him on there. And he's just a super easy card. I scheduled it to be delivered on Wednesday. I am so excited for you. I'm like going to be stalking Facebook on Wednesday. Where's Jane's package? I need to see it. Oh, I had a little white piece of paper to go in here, and I think we'll stamp this pineapple again, if I didn't lose my ink pad, because I think I did. There it is. It worked out really well. So this month I had one of my team members come over and she cut all of my paper for class. It was so wonderful. I did not have to cut a single sheet of paper except for this, because I forgot to tell her to do one extra. But it was okay because I only had to cut for one person instead of, 12. But that was really nice. I'm like, "You're hired. You can come to class if you will cut my paper." Because I just despise cutting paper. I can do it, but I don't know. It's like after I design a card, I'm just done. I don't want to look at it again. And my brain just can't. And to be quite honest, I can't measure very well. I count little lines. I know halves and quarters. When you start getting into the 8ths and the 16ths, and then I get confused and turned around, and then I cut stuff wrong. And then I get frustrated. So I liked that very much, having someone come do that. All right, so there's that card. Jane, you're just popping on. So we're doing a one sheet wonder. So I took a 6x6 sheet of paper and we cut the different pieces. There they are. They're hiding. So this was a full 6x6 and we cut it down so that we would have, this is a card, those 3 pieces of card, this is a card, these 2 little strippy guys will be a card, and then the 2 squares will be a card. And I think I have everything up there in the camera. But that way you're using all of your paper. And I think all I had was like a little itty bitty like 1/4 inch strip that I ended up tossing, but I'm sure you could have stuck him somewhere. But that way you're not wasting the paper and you're using the whole sheet. So what I did for this class is I just took the 4 different designs and I cut those shapes so that we could use different paper and everyone was getting a little taste. But you could definitely just take a 6x6 and make 4 different cards using those pieces. All right, so this is the big one. Let me find my sample. Here it is. So it's this one. And this one's using the new embossing folder, and I'm going to forget what it's called. It's something tropical, I think. But it's like this, almost like a crosshatch kind of thing. But it's really pretty. So I already ran this one through the Big Shot. Die cutting machine, embossing machine. I can't remember what we're supposed to be calling it. We're getting a new one, because right now we don't have one in the catalog, but we're getting one in June when our summer catalog comes out. It's gonna be in there and I'm really excited. So I cut this piece and it's actually just a tad long, which means that I cut it wrong. But I cut this the exact size, or it's supposed to be, of my card base, because the way that that folder is designed, it flips up and down like this, and so it fits really good on when you're making your 4 1/4 by 11 cards. But when you're doing it this way, I like to have that extra layer because otherwise you get a weird line or it just doesn't sit right. And so I just went ahead and made an extra layer. But that way you get that full imprint and you're not getting crazy. We're going to take our designer series paper. And we're just going to flip them and put them on this little layer. That looks even-ish. Oops. This one is Lovely Lipstick, so it's a little bit more pinky, I think, than a burgundy. It's like a bright hot pink. My lighting is not great today, I'm sorry. But it is really pretty. This is like one of my new favorite colors. This was not at the top of my list originally when this one first came out. I thought it was too bright, but it is absolutely beautiful with this tropical paper. And we'll stick our little flowers on there. All right, and then we're gonna take, I have the new StazOn Saddle Brown. So this is one, if you wanted to watercolor, instead of having to use the jet black StazOn, you could use the brown instead. It's a little bit softer. It's a little bit closer to, I'm trying to find my words as I talk. Our soft suede. It's very close to our soft suede ink, and so it's a little more, it's just not as harsh. And so you can do your watercoloring, because StazOn is for watercoloring, or if you need to stamp on something. I've had people stamp on like ceramics and clothes and that kind of stuff. And when you get your StazOn, there is a little plastic piece in here, and you don't get rid of this guy. It helps keep your ink pad from drying out. I haven't done it yet, but you can stick a dimensional on the top and then stick it up into your lid, and it'll hold it in there. That way you don't end up losing or accidentally lose your little plastic piece, because your ink pad will dry out faster for sure if you lose that little guy. Alrighty, so this one is Rest and Relax, You Deserve It. And we'll glue him to this little green piece. But it's just a really soft, pretty brown. I like this color. Let me put him back together so he doesn't dry out. Oh, we used, is it out here still? It should be. Alright, we used this braided. I think we did this in one of the cards for our celebration party, where you just take a piece of this, what are they calling it? I can never find it because it's in 5 different languages on here. The braided burlap trim. And you can leave it together, and I might just leave it together today. I usually end up taking it apart, but it is really pretty. I just feel like I need to pull it apart a little bit and distress it. I just feel like it's too bulky if you don't. And it just softens it a little. Okay, and then we're just going to use the glue dots. The glue dot will hold it on there nicely. And we're just going to stick him on there. And put several on there. So I lost my, there it is. I need to get new lighting out here. It's just not bright enough underneath this camera. There's too much shadow. Because this is so heavy, I'm using a whole lot more than I probably would typically use with these glue dots, but I don't want it popping off my card. Okay. And kind of distress the ends a little bit. And then we're going to put dimensionals on the back of this guy. Alright, I pulled out a whole sheet of dimensionals before I sat down. Here it is. I found, oh, they were sitting underneath that card. apparently, when I use dimensionals and I pull them out of the package, I pull out one, and I know I'm doing a lot, but I know that it's gonna have to go and straddle that twine stuff. But when I pull them out of the package, I pull out one sheet and then I toss the rest of them aside and then I lose it. And then so I had like one sheet here and one sheet there. That's why I couldn't find my dimensionals. They were all over the place. Let's go in the middle this time. There we go. I lost the lid. I have to keep the lid on my pokey guy or I will poke myself and it does not feel good. All right, and then we're gonna put these cute little trinkets. These are the Tropical Oasis trinkets. And they're just super duper cute. This little ukulele just makes me happy. It just makes me happy. And we're gonna use glue dots to put him on here too. And two of these seems to do just fine. I haven't had any of these fall off or anything. And just stick him on there. So there's card number 2. Using all that paper. Let me move these guys over so I don't get ink on them. Oh, I like this one too. I liked all of these. This paper was just so much fun to work with. So this one, here it is. And this one is the palm trees. And I love this one. Do you guys know where these little splotches came from? Have you been studying your new book yet? I'm going to give you a second while I pull these pieces out. See if you can think of where these splotches came from. Because it's not from the tropical set. While you're thinking, I'm going to put this on. I'm going to use some dimensionals to put this on. I like to use either my liquid glue or dimensionals when I'm putting my embossed paper layers on the card, just because it helps hold it on there better than the snail, because it has all those little ridges. It is from the poppies, Jane. Not everybody likes those poppy flowers, but I think they have amazing splotches. And they're just perfect for making different textures. And when I saw those palm trees, I'm like, they need some sand. They need to be on the beach. And there's no sand in this stamp set. Alright, we'll come back to that guy, because I already cut out my tree so you wouldn't have to watch me do it. Alright, so these are those little squares out of that 6x6. So we're going to do another sneaky hide the paper so that you don't know that we didn't use a whole sheet. You just have the illusion that we did. Yep. So you just line him up on the edges. I feel like I did him upside down. Turn him around. That's why I like glue. Okay, and then he can go on our card base. About there-ish. That looks good. There is going to be a die to cut out the birthday cake if you're talking about the one from the Celebration catalog. And Jane, because you're a demonstrator, you can order one now. I can email you the list. That website can be a little confusing. I'm sorry. But yes, I will send that sheet to you, and then I'll send you some instructions on how to get there, because sometimes it's a little confusing. But every Tuesday we have updates, and so when you log into your demonstrator website, when you log into the website as a demonstrator, it'll pop up on that very first screen. If you scroll down to the bottom left-hand corner, it'll say weekly updates. And in there, it had the pre-order for the coordinating products, I believe is what they were calling it. But I'll send you that PDF when I finish up here. Let me make sure I have the right side. I do. Okay. So, I keep meaning to post it in our little group anyway, and I forgot. This week has just kicked my hiney. I'm glad you're getting used to it. If you're willing to sit and explore it, it's not that bad, but I think they're in the process of updating most of it, and so everything is not where my brain wants it to be, but once you get used to it, it's not so bad. All right, so this one, what color was this? This is the Sahara sand, and this is the big splotch out of the poppies. And so I'm just gonna stamp them and then go off, and that way we're just getting those different layers in there. I feel like I need some more light in there. Okay, so there's our sand. And then I went in with the crumb cake, which is just a hair darker. And we're gonna go in with that little baby splotch. And I'm just gonna add in some shadowing. I think I need one more right there. So it just gives a little bit more dimension in there. And then the water is this splotch. I need another block. And then this color is in Pool Party. I think I probably stamped off both times when I did it, but that's okay. It's just gonna be dark. It's gonna look like waves coming in. So on this sample, this one I stamped off on my scrap paper before I put it on my card, and this one was full force. I think both of them are pretty. They still end up looking like waves coming in. Alrighty, so I'm gonna put him, make sure that guy's going the right way. We can glue him on here. Okay, and then we're gonna do the Stamparatus trick with these trees because I didn't want you guys to have to watch me cut out on the machine. So I have my little stencil. I'm gonna use, there's two magnets. So if you have a Stamparatus, on the back side is where you store your magnets. There's one there and one there. And you just have to be super careful because they are super strong. If they touch each other, you're probably going to break them pulling them apart. So we're gonna move him over here. I'm gonna use this one to hold down my paper. I'm gonna put, I need my trees. I'm gonna have to clean them off anyway. So I'm just gonna stamp them in the blue so I can get them lined up where I want them. And actually, I should have done this first. Hold, pause. Guys, my brain's not awake yet. It needs to be on here. Let's do them that way. So stamp on the door onto the scrap paper. I have done this before. I do know how to do this. Then we can stick our stencil over it and line him up where we want him. I don't know what my brain was wanting to do. It didn't make any sense though. Okay, so now when we close the door again, he should go, as long as I didn't move it, right back where he's supposed to be. All right, let me clean him off because he's not gonna be blue. Where'd the chamois go? Chamois. He disappeared. How crazy is that? I just used it. Oh, it's right there. Good grief. I'm staring at it. All right, I'm gonna clean all the blue. And because these trees are all one stamp, I had some people tell me they're going to cut it into two stamps. They're gonna do stamp surgery. You can also just use your regular Stampin' Write markers. So that's these, the ones that look like this. You never color on your stamps with the fat ones, the blends, because they're alcohol and it will eat at your rubber and it'll destroy it. So that's no good. So you can use your regular skinny Stampin' Write markers. So we're gonna do the green first because these are regular markers. I like to start with the light first, and we're just gonna color, I think you guys can see. just gonna color your leaves green. And that way we're not, because if you stamp this all in one color, you're either gonna have to use a sticky note to get the two different colors, or just be happy with them being all brown or all green and then coloring them in later. Oops, I colored my tree trunk a little bit. Get all our leaves. That looks good. And then I got a little bit right there. I got a little crazy. Oops, wrong way. And then we're going to take our brown and do our trunks. Okay. And as long as you did that fairly quickly, it should still be wet. If you're afraid that maybe it's not, you can give it a little huff, like you're cleaning your glasses, and that'll just add the moisture from your breath will re-moisten that ink. I just like to give it a little extra push just to make sure. Oh, guys, I didn't put my paper in there. But he came out perfect. All right, so this time, because I made a stencil, my paper needs to be in there. Let me color him again. At least I know that it is lined up perfect and it is where I want it. I've been working with little kids all week. My brain feels like mush. I've enjoyed going back and working with the kids, but I forgot how exhausting it was. Oops, colored the side of the stamp. Okay. Make sure I didn't move my little piece of paper. It may have been faster to do the die cutting machine. Alrighty, there they are. We have trees in the right spot. And these guys we're gonna dimensional, because everything should be dimensionaled. And I do feel like my little tree trunks should have a little something something on them. So I'm just gonna take the edge of my dimensional sheet and make a little strip. So there's one. Let's make another one. Just so that they're not flopping around and peeling up. Whoops. It helps if you line it up on the tree and not your paper. There we go. I still feel like he's over too far. My eyes and fingers are not working this morning. Okay, and then put our little trees on here. And then I did enjoy your retirement. I just felt like this was a retirement card. It just looked pretty, relaxing. I used, these words came out of Itty Bitty Greetings. So this one has some really good ones. You could do the congratulations, I'm here for you, sent with loves. I like the sending prayer. Let's do that one. I don't need a retirement card right now. Sending prayers. That one's sweet. And he also looks dirty, so we should clean him. And I'm thinking that this was used and stays on because it's not coming off. All right, let me get my little baby block. And we're gonna stamp it in the crumb cake. Let's see, and I did, oh man. I can't stamp this morning. Sorry, guys. He's still crooked. This is why paper has multiple sides. Excuse my head. You're gonna see my head, I guess. I can't get in there. There we go. That's better. And I just have, this is one of the scrappy pieces of paper from when I was cutting. And we're just gonna slide this guy up underneath the tree, like that. All right, just making sure I didn't have too much white showing. Stick a little dot of glue. Go right up, get up there. Nope. All right, and then he can go on our card. Where did you do with the card? There it is. All right, and I think we'll use some dimensionals on the back of him too. There. There we go. There's card number 3. We have one more. Which one didn't we do? Oh, the pineapple. I love the pineapple. I think I saved my favorite for last. So this is the little pineapple. This is using the dies that coordinate with this set. And so it cuts out a big pineapple. Uh-oh. Just put that on the stamp. Can get him out of his bag. And then if you guys watch, I know Jane was here and I feel like Lois had joined in too, but if you guys were here for the when we did the long live, we did the pineapple and we stamped it with the different stamps to give it texture. So we're going to do that again. So we're going to do the pineapple on the pineapple body and the leaf on the leaf. I'm going to do a little bit different, then I don't have to clean stamps. And we're using Pear Pizzazz and Daffodil Delight. Let's do our yellow first. Pineapple. And we're just stamping this all over, different directions, over and over. Let it overlap. Because you're not going to be able to tell it's a pineapple anyway. It's just to give it texture. And it's just different than if you were to just sponge it. It would be more splotchy. This has pineapple texture. Alright, there's our pineapple. And then this one's going to be for our leaves. This one I like to overlap because it's a distinctive stamp, so it has all that extra shading in there. I like to keep going over until I have more of that dark everywhere. Like that. So he's pretty. Alright, and then we're just going to take our little pieces of our designer series paper and glue them to these. I love this pineapple paper. I think it's cute. And 3. Let's fold our card. And when I'm doing one like this where you have where they fit just right on the card, I like to lay them out first, just to make sure I have them spaced, where it's not going to look wonky with everybody all at the top or everybody all at the bottom, or not having enough room for everybody, because that's sad too. Okay, I think that looks good. Oops. One. 2. And 3. Okay. And then we're going to stick our pineapple on there. I feel like the pineapple needs to be dimensional, but we need the minis because it has tiny little pieces in them. Here we are. So on the back of this guy, I'm just gonna find the fattest little parts in between and put some little baby dimensionals back here. I think I can get one right there without it showing through. Nope, it shows through just a little bit. And if they do, we'll just snip them in half. One there. These dimensionals hold pretty good, and so I'm not gonna go super crazy with the dimensionals. Oops, I pulled it off with my finger. All right, pineapple. And then this guy has those, I don't know, scored lines in him. So you just peel those guys up. And then we can stick dimensionals on the back of this. So we can do one there. Let's put one over here. Put his little hat on, his crown. And then we're going to use the regular twine, if it didn't disappear. I'm hoping everybody put this stuff back there. It's not look like, there it is. Alright, so this is just the regular natural twine from the annual catalog. I'm going to fold it in half and make a double bow. Maybe, if I don't lock my finger in there. Making the size that I want. That looks good. And then you have 3 loops, so you have to cut the one. And then we'll use a glue dot to put it on there. Right there. There we go. And then for our words, we're gonna use this little, I didn't use all the sides on this yet. I like the for you. Where did I get that for you from? Nobody did words last night, and so I don't remember. There it is. It is in the itty bitty. He's right there. We're gonna do it in the brown. There he is. And I'm gonna go over just a smidge, not all the way to the edge, because I'm going to use our classic label punch just to give them a little shape. Okay. And I'm just going to snip them off. A little dot of glue, and we'll stick it up underneath of our pineapple. It looks like a little tag. And actually, we're going to lift you up a little bit because I want you under. Get under there. There we go. I think it just says for you. Alright, and then I have these sequins, and these are the Peaceful Poppy sequins. Let's see, we'll do one here, one here. We'll do one over here, 3. I think we'll stick with 3 today. I'm not good at placing these sequins sometimes. Let's see if I got the colors I wanted. I want a gold one. I want another. I think everybody picked out the gold ones last night. One more. Get back down there. Okay. I feel like it needs more sequins, but where do I want them? Let's put one in here. And let's put another one. About right there. They picked out all the gold ones. It was much easier when I was making this the other day. There we go. That's better. I feel like it's still too unbalanced, but it's okay. You guys get the idea. You can stick your sequins wherever you want. So there's our cute little pineapple. Hey, Tara. We're just showing the cards that we made last night, because they turned out so pretty. All right, so we did the blue one. I told the universe to send you some awesome, some rest and relax, and then we did this really cute pineapple. And that was all using the 6x6 layers. Uh-oh, I took somebody's tag off. There we go. Oh, they're so cute. Well, thank you, Jane. Thank you very much. But you could use those layouts, and you could use that same sheet of paper. Like we cut the that lily pad paper at the beginning, but you could take and just, you know, use a different card base, obviously, because they don't really go with that lily pad. But even this tropical paper, you could have taken the same sheet of paper and done these layouts, and then you would have used the whole 6x6 sheet of paper. It's just a different way. I like those one sheet wonders, and they do them for the 12x12 sizes too, but I really liked the 6x6 one. I don't really like when it starts doing all those diagonals and triangles. They look super cute, but I'm really bad at cutting those on the paper trimmer. So I like that these were all squares and rectangles. I can handle that. But anyway, I think that was it. It was just to pop on and show you what we made in class, and thank you, Lois. I'm glad you guys liked them. If you guys aren't already, I think you both are, but if anybody else is not signed up for Paper Pumpkin, today is the last day to sign up for January's. It's 20 treat bags and 10 mini cards, and they're all love themes, so wedding, bridal shower, Valentine's, just because, and it's going to coordinate with the heart punch pack too. The stamp in the Paper Pumpkin kit will have the heart stamp that matches those punches. So that's just something to keep in mind, because today is the last day to sign up for that one. And then tomorrow we'll get a preview of what next month's will be, which is always exciting. I think if you're a demonstrator, which Jane and Lois, you both are, make sure you're on the Paper Pumpkin demonstrator planning page. And Jane, I'll invite you. And on the demonstrator planning place, because there's a ton of really good resources on there. And then they also post updates early on there too. And there was an update for Paper Pumpkin, next month's Paper Pumpkin, on the demonstrator Paper Pumpkin yesterday. I forget his name. I think it's Cole. Cole was on there and telling us some secrets that we can't share with everybody. But as a demonstrator, you get to know the secrets early. So anyway, I will talk to you guys later, and you have a great rest of your Friday afternoon. Bye!